Hello, everyone. Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So, especially for the second portion of our class, the restorative yin part, make sure you have a couple of blocks, a strap, blanket, pillow, or things that can serve that purpose. And just set them aside. We're going to begin with two blocks, placing them right up in front of you, crossing the mat at their lowest height. So we're actually going to begin in a bit of a yin posture, a variation of child's pose that will help to open up our shoulders and our lats. So as you bring your feet together at the rear of your mat, we did this part on Wednesday, so extend your arms forward and rotate your outer upper arms towards the ground. So your triceps rotating downward so that you can feel your shoulder blades spread across your upper back. And then draw the shoulders down away from your neck. Now place your bent elbows, your shoulders distance apart on top of the blocks. Press your fingertips into each other to that Hakini Mudra that we talked about of the 5 elements that to cultivate integration and wholeness. And then you can scoot your knees back any amount you might need so that you're able to lower your head towards the floor, whatever degrees possible, while tracing your thumbs down the back of your head, back of your neck, maybe even between the shoulder blades, however far they go here comfortably. And then tune in to pay more attention to the way your body is naturally breathing here. Feeling into your outermost kosha or layer of self, your physical being. Noticing any sensations in your body you're working with right now. Notice your energetic states. Prana, Maya, Kosha. What's your energy level like? And then your mental and emotional state. What is your attention drawn to as you sit in stillness here? And so today's practice is going to be focused quite a bit on the heart energy center on this new moon today. Anahata Chakra is the name of the heart energy center, which is generally located at the center of your chest, below your sternum, as well as the center of your upper back, between the shoulder blades. And we know that it's not only a physical area, but it's where your psychology and physical self intersect. So when Anahata means unstruck, unhurt. So when that energy center is in balance, you feel a freshness, a pureness of heart, this sense of joy, effortless joy, love, compassion, ability to forgive, ability to love and be loved. Now, when it's balanced, you also can feel self-acceptance, empathy, and have a sense of a strong immune system physically. And when we have excess energy, maybe that heart energy center is a bit too open, we might have poor boundaries or even codependency with others we're in relationship with, even jealousy or possessiveness. And if we're feeling deficient in this heart energy center, we might have a fear of intimacy and relationships, a lack of empathy, maybe judgmental or intolerance of ourselves or others. So this practice today, I invite you to begin by perhaps asking yourself the question, how can I nourish my heart with this practice right now? And perhaps that becomes your sankalpa, your heart-rooted intention. And if there's anyone that comes to mind that you're in relationship with that you would like to dedicate the efforts of this practice to as well, call them to mind and start to deepen your breath, opening across your chest, bringing attention to your heart energy space. Let out any sound as you remain in this position, just a few more breaths, deepening the inhale a little bit slower. And unpacking with the exhale any sound. One more time. And then releasing your arms straight. Start to press the ground with your hands so that you can slowly roll your spine upright. And we're going to have a very similar practice to our flow practice on Wednesday. Take one of your blocks, please, as you come to stand on your knees, and hug the skinniest width of it right between your thighs, as if you're about to come into camel pose, which we're not going to do right now. And then you might like to tuck your toes just to feel more stable. So firming your thighs into the block, feel your outer hips hug your midline. So there's a strong center line in the body. And then take the second block between your palms by the widest width of the block. Without gripping with your fingers, rotate your triceps towards the floor again as you straighten your arms forward. Now keeping the shoulders relaxed, your front ribs sealing in. Take an inhale and lift your arms as far as they'll go overhead while keeping the shoulders relaxed. Exhaling, bring the arms forward and down right in front of your thighs. So there's actually a seed sound or bija mantra. Take this a few more times. Inhale the arms up and exhale the arms down at your own pace of breath. So you might treat this like a half sun salutation as you connect movement to breath a few times. And the bija mantra or seed sound associated with the heart energy center, or activating it, is the sound that you might make when you taste something really delicious. Yum. Y-A-M. So now I invite you to chant that. And remember that chanting also helps to create resonance. It helps to soothe the nervous system as well as lengthen the breath. So on your next inhale, preparing, we'll take 3 chants of yum. Take a deep breath in. Yum. Second round. Yum. Last one, as you raise the arms, maybe create a little back bend, lifting the chest. Inhale. Yum. Put the 2 blocks outside of your mat, setting left hand in the middle of your chest, right hand on your lower belly. And let's begin to lengthen the breath just through the nose if you can. So we're starting to create some internal warmth, preparing the body to move. And as you deepen the inhale, listen to a soft whisper as you exhale through the nose and try to lengthen the out breath just as slowly as the in. And with that, by gently narrowing the back of your throat, see if you can hear a soft whispering sound. So we're now practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, a balancing, focusing breath. And as you listen to your own breath pace, let's come down to hands and knees. We'll give the inner wrist a stretch by spinning out your hands so that your fingertips might face the outside edges or the rear edge of your mat, whatever works for you, in cat-cow pose. So have the knees a couple inches behind your hips. And on an inhale, glide your chest through your upper arms, rolling your shoulders back as you lift your heart and gaze. As you exhale, contract your belly, dropping your head, tucking the tailbone as you round your back. And then take that on your own several more times to the sound of your own breath rhythm. And remember that as you feel your own body in each moment of this practice, you have the freedom to choose whatever variations of postures, whether to slow it down or even take moments in child's pose and be still anytime you need, or to add more intensity if that's what your heart is asking for. Now finishing off a couple more cycles of Viralasana of cat-cow. Turn your index fingers forward so they're parallel to each other. Spread your fingers brightly. Root the base of each finger into the ground, especially the thumb and index. And then tucking your toes with feet hips width apart. Lift your hips as high as you can towards your rear wall, coming into Adho Mukha Nasana, downward dog. And then feel free to take a few breaths to shift around in your own way that your body may need to loosen, like pedaling the feet in place. Maybe add swiveling your hips left and right, like you're doing the twist. Maybe shaking and nodding your head. Know that downward dog can also be practiced with knees on the floor and the arms extended, back sort of flat like this. So anytime you need to change it up, feel free to. Now as you're ready, set your eyes on one spot on the ground so that you can help to sharpen your mental focus as you still your body for maybe 4 more breaths. And though your body is still, can you feel that downward rooting wind, Apanavayu, through your fingers pressing down and forward to create that upward moving wind, Udanavayu, up to your shoulders, up through the hips, elongating your spine. Couple more breaths here. Now as you keep your left and right hips leveled, lift from the inseam of the leg. Inhale, slowly raise your right foot behind you, flexing it. Now hollow your belly like cat pose and exhale, round forward, bending the right knee towards your nose through plank. And then softly as you can, set the right foot just inside of the right hand, lower your back knee. Untuck your back toes here for Anjaneyasana, so pressing down to your right foot. Sweep your arms forward and up, linking your pinky fingers here as though you're scooping water from a river, cool, refreshing water. And as you exhale, as it pouring that over yourself, cleansing, palms face down, pinky fingers continue to touch. Hands are tracing the midline. And then as you inhale, spread your arms like wings, like you're a bird soaring with aerial perspective. So we're adding a little qigong here with the arms. Inhale, scoop the hands forward again, pinky fingers like you're scooping water from a river. Exhale, pour it over yourself. Inhale, open the arms like wings. This time rolling the shoulders back, look up. Let's try this twice more. Inhale, scoop the palms, scoop that cool river water. Exhale, pour it over yourself. Inhale, splay the arms, wide wingspan, coiling the chest. Exhale the arms down. One more time. Inhale, scoop. Exhale, pour. Inhale, open wings, lift the heart. Exhale the hands down. Coming into half split, Ardha Hanumanasana, you might use blocks under your hands here. So as you lift the ball of your right foot, flex the toes and scissor your right hip back. Whatever degree you can straighten the right leg so that you're bowing without rounding the back. So think of your sternum or your heart center reaching forward, leading with your heart as you bow into yourself. And you hear the sound of your breath. About 3 more here in Ardha Hanumanasana. You have blocks, set them aside, hands on the floor. Inhale, tuck the back toes in a high lunge. Exhale, step into your plank pose to pause for 3 breaths. So legs could be straight, firming the heels back, or knees could be on the floor right under the hips. Lift the sides of your waist, look on the ground ahead, take another in-breath. Exhale, lower your knees and chin to the floor, look forward, hug your elbows to your sides, and then slither belly, pelvis, legs all the way to the ground. Press your toenails into the mat. Inhale, cobra. Draw the shoulder heads back and down. Tuck your toes. Exhale, firm the belly and press into your plank. Lift your tailbone, downward facing dog. Let's take a cooling, clearing lion's breath. Inhale deeply. Open your mouth and eyes wide. Stick out your tongue. Let any sound go. So again, balancing your two hips. Lift from the inseam of your leg. Inhale, raise your left foot slowly. Hollow your belly. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, stepping the foot through to a kneeling lunge. Untuck the back toes, firm the left foot down. Palms come together like you're scooping water from a river. Inhale, the arms overhead, pinky fingers touch. Exhale, palms face down, tracing your midline. Inhale, open the arms like wings. Exhale, hands down by your sides. 4 more. Inhale, scoop, pinky fingers touch. Exhale, pour it overhead. Inhale, this time as you open your wings, coil your chest up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, scoop. Exhale, pour. Inhale, wings, heart up. Exhale, down by the side. Breathe in, follow your own pace. Breathe out, down the center. Breathe in, wide wings, lifted heart. Exhale, down last time. Inhale, scoop. Exhale, cool, refreshing pour. Inhale, wide open wings, lift the heart. Exhale, grab your blocks if you want to use them for half split. So lift the ball of your left foot, flex the toes, scissor your left outer hip back. Whatever degree you can straighten the legs so that you're folding with the feeling of a flat back. Inhale, broaden your collarbones, lift your heart slightly, and with your heart slightly lifted, exhale, fold in. Let's take a few breaths in Ardha Hanumanasana. Can you feel your left quadricep slightly lifting the kneecap as it's contracting? Now set your blocks aside if you're using them, fingertips on the ground. Inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, step into your version of plank. Now you can take your knees down and lower your chin and slither again, or this time, follow me to Chaturanga on an exhale. Glide forward, graze your elbows by your side ribs. Either come all the way down for Cobra again, or flip your toes and roll the shoulders into upward facing dog. Contract the belly as you exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a deep lion's breath. Inhale. Open your mouth wide. Couple more breaths in and out to the nose. We're going to come into 3 rounds of Sun Salutation A. Surya Namaskar A. We can use the salutation as a moving prayer or your intention in motion. So if you come back to that sankalpa or that heart-rooted intention, how are you nourishing yourself today? And maybe bring that intent into how you are synchronizing your movement to your breath. Bend your knees, look forward. On empty breath, walk or float to the top of your mat. Press your legs to the ground. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold in. From down through your feet, inhale, sweep your arms towards the sky, the sun above. And as if blessing yourself, hands in prayer, exhale, trace your midline, mountain pose. Let's take the first one together. Inhale, sweep your arms, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow in, Uttanasana. Inhale, press with your hands, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step into your plank, or if it's your jam, float back into Chaturanga. Take it into your version, whether Cobra or Upward Dog as you breathe in. Exhale back to Downward Dog, pausing there for 3 to 5 rebalancing breaths. Steadying your drishti, your gaze. Let that intention inspire action here. As you start to move at your own pace of breath, last 2 rounds on your own. I'll do it here in case you need to peek to see what's next. So when you're ready, on an empty breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Keep going. The inhales to rise and the exhales to lower. Feel free to add your own variation. Remember to pause in downward dog for a few breaths, resetting your pace. When you finish your 3rd Surya Namaskar A, we'll meet in downward facing dog. If you need to release a bit of heat here, feel free to take more lion's breaths or maybe flutter your lips, help to loosen your jaw too, like this. So as we meet in downward dog, feel your fingers spread as if your palms are pushing the mat into the earth and forward. And then feel the hips rise back, shoulder blades spread apart. Again, keep your hips even, lift from the inseam of the leg. On an inhale, raise the right leg back. Exhale, round forward through plank, set the foot just inside of the right hand in a high lunge, so you're on the ball of the back foot. Press to your feet, inhale, sweep your arms forward to rise up. So as you rotate your outer upper arms forward here, see if you can bring your palms to touch. You can bend your left knee any amount so that your balance can feel more steady, or that so your tailbone can lower, frontal hip bones lift, center contain. Now remember when we bent the elbows on the blocks in the beginning? Pretend those blocks are floating in the air. You're placing your elbows there, shoulders width, and then start to trace your thumbs down the back of your skull, maybe the back of your neck. Now keep your tailbone pointing down, lift your back ribs, so lengthen the lower back, and right under your shoulder blades, coil your chest up into a back bend. Pressing the shoulders down as you open the chest with your in-breath. Now let the belly firm in as you start to reach your hands forward, 1 foot in front of your right foot, either onto blocks or onto the floor for Warrior 3. Dragging your left foot forward, lift your left leg from the inseam, and then gaze forward on the ground, creating a strong horizontal line from crown to inner left heel. Take a deep breath here. This is called Shiva squat. So bend your knees, cross the left leg behind the right leg as if you're about to sit down to a seated twist. Don't actually sit down, just flirting with it. Inhale, re-extend into Warrior 3. Standing splits, bow into your right leg. You can walk your hands closer to your right foot if you like. Doesn't matter how high your left leg is lifted, but try to lift from the inseam so your hips stay balanced. Next inhale, lift your chest, look forward. Crawl your hands back, step into plank, and you decide, hold plank, lower into a vinyasa, take cat-cow, or go straight to downward facing dog. . Side 2. Keep your hips balanced. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, round forward, step it through to a high lunge. From down to your feet, inhale, sweep your arms up. Wrap the triceps forward as the palms touch. Bend your right knee any amount here as you feel the tailbone anchor down. Then as you bend your elbows on the floating imaginary blocks, trace your thumbs down the back of your neck and coil your chest up. Careful not to splay the elbows wider than shoulders width. Tailbone points down. Take another breath to lift your heart, gazing up. Keep the belly firm. Exhale your hands a foot ahead of your front foot. Use blocks or the floor. Warrior 3. Flex the right foot. Create a long horizontal line. Breathe in. Shiva squat. Bend your knees. Cross the right leg behind the left as if you're about to sit in a twist. Don't actually sit. Inhale back to Warrior 3. Standing split. Bow into your left leg. Maybe walk your hands closer. Inhale, lift your chest. Look forward. Walk your hands back. Step to plank. You decide, vinyasa or none. We'll meet in downward facing dog. And this is our next flow sequence. One breath. Each movement, find your pace. Deep inhale. Slow exhale to your nose. Here we go. Inhale, raise the right leg from the inseam. Exhale, step it lightly into a high lunge. Root down, inhale, rise, palms touch overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows and trace the thumbs. Coil your chest up. Inhale, reach for the floor or your blocks. Lift the left leg, Warrior 3. Exhale, bend the knees, Shiva squat. Inhale, re-extend, Warrior 3. Exhale, bow in, standing split. Inhale, lift your chest, look forward. Walk the hands back. From plank, you decide flow or no flow. And if you've got the sequence, feel free to go straight to the other side. Otherwise, if you're with me here, downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, round forward, step it to a high lunge. Inhale, rise, palms touch. Exhale, bend the elbows, trace the thumbs, coil your chest. Inhale, place your hands on the floor, blocks, shift into Warrior 3. Exhale, bend the knees, Shiva squat. Inhale, back to Warrior 3. Exhale, bow, lifting the right leg, standing split. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step into plank. Decide where you want to go from here. We'll meet in downward facing again. Might be an opportune time for a few cooling lion's breaths. And then as you set your knees down onto the floor, I invite you to choose your inversion before we get into our cool down. So you can come into dolphin pose, perhaps interlacing the fingers, or you can choose the forearms parallel. So it's the same idea of wrapping the triceps down, creating space in the neck as you plant your forearms, your outer wrists if your hands are clasped, and then tucking the toes, walking the feet forward if possible. In dolphin, you might lift from the inseam of the leg and extend one leg straight up for a few breaths, and then switch. We're only doing this one round. Some of you, if you don't have any neck injuries, glaucoma, high or low blood pressure, then you might come into Shirshasana, headstand, top of the head to the floor. We practiced this one on Wednesday. Hands are lightly supporting the back of the skull. Make sure you're not kicking the leg up. You're using the strength of your belly here to tilt the pelvis upside down. So take your choice of your inversion for 5 to 10 breaths or so. And then when you feel ready, we'll meet to rest in child's pose. And take your time. When you do arrive in child's pose, you may want to give your shoulders a rest by draping your arms down by your shins, maybe turning your head to one side, gently stretching your neck. And then if you're stretching your neck, switching the other ear to the floor. Take a few long exhales through your mouth. And then look for your strap, please, or anything you could use like a strap. Even a long sock or a t-shirt could do. Take hold of that as you slowly roll your spine upright to sit. Coming into Gomukhasana here, so if you like, grab a pillow, blanket as well, to prop your pelvis on top of. If you tend to round your back when you're crossing your legs in front of you, you might find that helpful. And then extending your left leg forward, I'm going to mirror you here. Take your right thigh, cross it over your left thigh as much as you can, so maybe the knees stack. Now, if you've got any sciatica issues, lower back pain, you might prefer to keep the bottom leg straight and flex the foot in this pose. Otherwise, bend your bottom knee, splay your feet apart. Just make sure your two sitting bones are evenly grounded. Now, with your right leg on top, take hold of in your left hand, raise your left arm, and dangle the tail behind you. Use your right hand and rotate your left tricep forward. Bring the elbow behind your head so your left palm lands between your shoulder blades. Walk your shoulder blades down the back, and then reach your right hand underneath to grab the other end of your strap. Keeping your hands closer together. You might clasp your fingers, you might not. Now feel what you're sitting on and press into it to rebound and lift up through the center of your spine. Open up your heart space. Feel your throat open. Take a deep breath. As you firm the belly in, see if it's possible to exhale, fold a little bit, breath by breath. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So we won't be in this posture too long, just another 4 to 5 deep breaths. What does it mean to feel balanced in your heart? What does it mean to truly accept where you are today in your body, like in this physical practice, or what you're feeling right now emotionally? As you start to float your heart up, take a deep breath, rising. And let's undo the arms and legs if you want. You can dance them out a bit, shake them out a bit. And then we'll keep the right leg extended. Take your left thigh, cross it over the right. So try to go for the same version of the poses you did on the first side, unless you've got something very different happening on this side. You might bend the bottom knee, you might move the flesh aside from your sitting bones. Take the strap in your right hand if you're using one. Raise your right arm. Use your left hand to help rotate the right tricep forward. Bring the elbow behind your head. Reach your left hand underneath, grab the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp, maybe they don't. As you root down to your pelvis, breathe in as though you could lift up more space between each vertebra. Exhale, perhaps start to fold forward. Breath by breath. Just exploring your own range on this side of the pose. Let's finish another 4 to 5 slow, mindful breaths. And as you feel ready, imagine breathing from your heart center just below your sternum, so that with a sense of lightheartedness, you start to rise on an inhale. Releasing your arms and legs, maybe giving them a little shake or roll. And let's find our way down onto our bellies. All the way down into Sphinx pose. So setting your elbows on the ground, just beneath your shoulders, forearms parallel, so that you can lift and broaden your chest. And as you straighten your legs, bring your knees as close together as you can. And can you imagine streaming energy through your big toes, like you're trying to grow your big toes towards the rear wall in an effort to create space in your lower back. And as you fan out your toes, press your pinky toenails into the floor. And then breathe into your heart space. Let your collarbones smile a little wider. Relaxing your neck. A couple more breaths. Now crossing your left forearm on the ground just in front of your chest. Bend your right knee. Backstroke your right arm. Catch hold of the big toe rather than the pinky toe side of your right ankle or foot, so that you're opening the inner right shoulder. Then have your knees no wider than hips distance. Press your 2 frontal hip bones into the ground. Turn your chest completely forward, and then let your shoulders melt down your back. And as you're breathing here, maybe visualize breathing into your right quadricep, front muscle of your right thigh. See how close your right heel will want to come towards your outer right hip. Feel into the energy of your jaw, your face. And you bring a softness there. Now you might explore spinning your right hand at the wrist so the fingertips are facing forward, if that feels available. Now these more yin, cooling asanas, since they're only about half of this our practice. Don't hold them for too long so we can get a few in. Let's finish off another 4 breaths here. And as you're ready, gently release the right leg back. Come back to that neutral Sphinx pose with both forearms in front. You might like to gently turn your head and just loosen the neck a bit as you scoot your knees close together again. Grow your big toes to help lengthen your lower back. Then cross your right forearm in front of your chest. Bend your left knee, backstroke your left arm. Find the big toe side of left ankle or foot. And with your knees no wider apart than your hips distance to support your lower back, ground your 2 frontal hip bones. Turn your chest completely to face forward. Let your shoulders relax down. Listen to your breath. Maybe guide it into your left quad as you bring the left heel gently to the outside of your left hip. If on this side it's available for you, you might spin the hands so your fingertips are facing the front of your mat. Listen in to the quality of 4 more breaths. And as you feel ready, gently press your hands into the floor as you release the left leg. Come on up to hands and knees. Take your choice of lying on your back for the supine version of single pigeon, also called thread the needle, or follow me into the upright version, crossing your right calf in front of your pelvis, sitting with your left leg straight behind you, tucking the toes for a moment. And as you plant your hands alongside your hips, lift your pelvis a moment and scissor the right hip back, the left hip forward. You might place pillow or blanket under your right glute, keeping the hips squared, and then relax your back toes. Breathe in, open the front of your torso. And as you breathe out, slowly begin to bow. Now you can grab any pillows or blocks here to rest your forearms or forehead on. You could take a spinal twist, the other thread the needle, flaring the right elbow up so the right fingertips are towards the upper right corner of your mat. As you slide the left arm underneath your right bent elbow, left palm face up, and you lower the left side of your head all the way down. Feel free to put something under your head if it's not reaching the ground. And then we'll be here for about 2 minutes. I'm watching the clock now. And I invite you to notice, are there any areas of your body speaking a little louder to you as you're in this posture? And cultivating compassion for any areas that might feel discomfort. Perhaps picture breathing into wherever your body is talking to you right now. Kind, loving energy with your breath. And if you might notice your mind, the natural monkey mind that we humans tend to have, the attention starts to wander off somewhere else in time and space. Perhaps smile inwardly and re-gift yourself your presence. Notice where your body might be asking for your attention again. Breathe into that. Now, if you're on your back, I invite you to slowly switch sides. You might take a moment to rotate your thighs together and apart as you uncross the legs. If you're in this position that I'm in, some version of it, please start to make your way back to hands and knees or downward facing dog, where you can give your right leg a lift, maybe a shake, or rotate it at the hip to encourage blood flow. And then as you feel ready, from hands and knees again, if you're taking the upright single pigeon, slide the left calf in front of your pelvis. Have a seat with your right leg straight back, toes tucked. As you place your hands alongside your hips, lift your pelvis to scissor the left hip back, the right hip forward. And see if it might be useful to place a prop under your left glute here to keep your hips even. And relax your right toes, lift your chest, deep inhale. And start to lower. Feel free to grab whatever pillows, blocks you want to lower onto. Or if you did the other thread the needle, the twist in the mid-back, crawl your left fingertips towards the upper left corner of your mat, flaring the elbow up. And slide your right arm, palm face up, under your left elbow, resting the right side of your head all the way down. Feel free to use a prop for your head. Settling in here, another 2 minutes. Is there anything different on this side of the body that you can acknowledge and give compassion to? Notice the way your body is breathing here. And last few breaths here. Gently begin to make your way into that more neutralizing motion. If you're on your back, maybe a happy baby pose or circling the legs again. Otherwise, you might come into downward dog or hands and knees and raise your left leg. Maybe shake it out, circle it out. Let's all eventually meet lying on our backs. Bending your knees here as you set your feet onto the ground. Separate your feet wider than hips width, and then drop your knees together to touch. Your palms rest face down right onto your belly, your lower belly, and then walk your shoulder blades down your back ribs. So in this position of the legs, we're gently broadening the sacrum, opening across the lower back. So how have you nourished yourself in this practice so far? Mostly the physical practice, the asana. Breath practice, pranayama. Before we melt completely into Shavasana, let's practice a breathing technique to further calm our nervous system. It's an inhale through the nose for a count of 5 while expanding your belly using your diaphragm. And it's an exhale through the mouth, counting from 7, hollowing the belly gently. So diaphragmatic breathing, exhaling through the mouth. So let's empty this breath to prepare. Hold it out. Then inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sliding your legs apart, any variation here of Shavasana corpse pose. You may want to use props. Just finding your own position to bring your body into restful stillness a few minutes before our meditation. Here's a quote from Mindful Loving, a book by Dr. Henry Grayson. Essentially, from a spiritual perspective, the central purpose of all our relationships is to help us uncover our essential divine nature and to help others do the same. Today's 10-minute guided meditation is going to focus on nurturing, or if you choose, healing a relationship. So if you'd like to join me for that, perhaps keeping your eyes closed, just allow your body to gently begin moving out of Shavasana. Whatever wants to move first. Take a moment to situate your body in a comfortable seated position in Sukhasana. You might like to sit up on something like a pillow. Just feel that your spine feels tall and strong, your heart space feels open and buoyant. And then you could choose to rest your hands in your lap. Some mudras might be one for the Anahata Chakra. Our energy center is the Lotus Mudra, which is bringing the heels of the palms to touch, thumbs touch, pinky fingers touch, like a blossoming lotus, and bringing the thumbs to the sternum. It represents purity, so with it you might imagine a warm, loving light, the energy of a warm, loving light streaming down from above and through that lotus flower into your heart center, expanding throughout your body. You could also rest your hands in your lap and take Jnana Mudra, which is thumb and index finger to touch. So taking what works for you, you can close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one spot ahead. And start to soften your awareness onto wherever in your body that you can feel your breath naturally move in and out. And know that anytime, if it serves you best, you can refocus your attention on this part of your body in place of this meditation I'm guiding you through. So in this meditation, I invite you to choose one relationship that you might be called to nurture or to put effort into healing right now. It might be a relationship with a loved one. It might be a relationship with someone that you're having some conflict with. It might be a relationship with yourself. It could be deceased. It could be present. And now visualize that other, that being, that person. Spend a moment just feeling into how that relationship feels to you right now. Does it feel balanced? Is it centered in love? No judgment, we're just awakening our awareness of it. So relationships, especially the challenging ones, can reflect back to us areas in which we can become aware of, heal, or grow within our own selves. As spiritual teacher Ram Dass tells about, and yoga psychology teaches that clear perception can be cultivated by understanding how we might sometimes project our own insecurities, aversions, or fears onto others, especially those who are the closest to us. And what we can recognize in others, we are familiar with because there is a seed of that same quality within ourselves. So is there anything about this relationship with that person you call to mind right now that is asking for you to look at within yourself? I invite you to bring a gentle attitude of caring curiosity as you pause to notice, if anything, words, images, sensations, felt sense might arise in response. Is this other reflecting something back to you? In Mindful Loving, Dr. Henry Grayson teaches that when we want to heal or cultivate peace in a relationship with another, that we often need to first address ourselves, noticing how our thoughts contribute to the well-being of the relationship. So with an intent to bring in peace, how does your heart want you to tend to anything in this relationship that may be reflecting something back about yourself? And now might you be able to sense anything that the other person might be going through, that they could use your compassion about. If you feel open to it, I invite you to place your hands at your heart center, and from a genuine place in your heart, offer them thoughts of compassion and love. What can you wish for them? Perhaps visualize this person receiving your love, receiving your compassion. And imagine how a healthy, balanced, and love-centered relationship with them would look like. What would it feel like? What would it sound like? And just allow a moment to sit in the effects of that meditation. Just be in the space that you've cultivated. Bowing in towards your own inner compass, inner teacher. Perhaps bringing your palms to meet there as well, your heart center. Let's close this practice with the seed sound, yum. Take a deep inhale. Yum. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.